Hey guys, it's Corey with Moti Vitality. Today I want to show you how to correctly take a sample of water so it can be analyzed at Resin Tech as part of their lab analysis. This test I have here with me today is the standard with Coliform. It tests for the following contaminants on the screen. There's a few key parts to taking this sample that I want to go over with you that are pretty important. So I'm going to show you from start to finish how to take the sample. As always, this is linked in the description below. It's something we sell on our website, so I encourage you, if you're looking for a lab analysis, to go to our website to get some more information. So here's what the Resin Tech box looks like when it comes in. As you might be able to see, the front of it has the type of test check mark. So this is the standard with Coliform test. When you open it, you actually get, the first thing that you see here is the sampling instructions. So it is customized. I'll take a close up and put it on there, but it's also on their website. So this has all of the instructions for how you're going to take the test that you have, including the shipping instructions. So the other thing that you will see is a 500 milliliter bottle, which is for the first test that we're going to do here. Another one is the bacteria test, which I'll set right there. Here are the stickers that you actually put on the bottles themselves when it's time, when you've finished collecting them. I'll put a completed sticker right here just so you can see what it looks like, but it has the source, the site name, sample ID, the type of analysis, and the type of sample, as well as a date and time. So that should help you as you continue to work with it. And next, with this particular test, we have these two bottles, the glass bottles, which are in bubble wrap. So we'll want to keep the bubble wrap and the rubber band, because when we ship it back, we'll put it back into this bubble wrap. And the last thing here is an ice pack. So for this particular test, it needs to stay cold. So what they recommend is to put this ice pack, it's a foam ice pack, into the freezer for at least 8 hours. Just to fully freeze it before actually doing the sample. So that's one thing you'll want to keep in mind before you collect the samples, that it will need some sort of ice pack in there. So here we are at the kitchen sink. I should point out, before any sort of testing, I like to wash my hands fully just to prevent any sort of contamination with any of the tests. But the first test here, the first sample I should say, is the 500 milliliter sample. So the instructions say to let the water run for 2 to 4 minutes before collecting the water. So I'll do that now, and I'll speed it up for you so that you don't have to wait through it. All right, so it's been about 4 minutes, and the instructions say to lower the stream so that it doesn't splash out of the bottle. So with any testing, I always like to only grab the top of the bottle with washed hands and unscrew it. And the instructions say to fill it up to the neck. So we will fill it up and wait. All right, so I filled it up to the neck of the bottle. So you put the cap on fully, make sure it's tight, and set this test aside. We will put a sticker on it before sending it away, just so we know what test it is, and so Resin Tech doesn't lose information or anything like that. So the next test that we're going to do are these two glass bottles here. So for this one, it says to reduce the stream even more because they are smaller bottles. And this one can be a little tricky, so you want to take the top off, and the instructions are to fill this all the way to the top until there's a meniscus. A meniscus is that round bubble of water on top when it's full enough. So I'll put a close-up on there for you so you know what I'm talking about. And so this is a pretty good meniscus on there, and you go ahead and put the cap back on slowly. We will do that with each sample. And I'm going to turn the water down just a little more so it's a thinner stream. until there's a meniscus. Put the cap back on and set the test aside. So the next sample that is required is the bacteria sample. So inside of the bacteria bottle, if it focuses, it looks like white powder. That white powder is supposed to be there. It's part of the preservative for the sample. So do not wash that out. And I go overboard with hand washing a little bit. So before I actually take the sample, I'm going to wash my hands again and take off my watch, just to prevent any sort of contamination. So the next part of this is actually required for the bacteria test. We have to take off the aerator. Now, if you don't know, it's really easy to contaminate a bacteria sample. So one of the requirements for this is actually to take the rubbing alcohol and clean off the faucet, especially since I just touched it to take the aerator off. But aerators can have a lot of bacteria growth already in them. So we want to make sure to take, I'll take off my watch first, but we want to take the rubbing alcohol and use it to clean where the aerator was, just the end of the faucet. So I like to go overboard with the rubbing alcohol just to kill any sort of bacteria that might have been in there. And I like to do a really good job of getting into all the nooks and crannies to clean it out, because the last thing I want is a sample to be contaminated just because I didn't clean it enough. So there we go. And next part of this is to actually let the water run for another at least 2 minutes, just to make sure that water is completely out of the pipes and there's no extra bacteria getting on it. So I'll do that and speed it up for us. All right, it's been about 3 minutes actually, with the water just running. I actually washed my hands in that time again, so to make sure there's no contamination, and I haven't touched anything since then. So what I'm going to do next is take off the top of the bacteria bottle, and if that seal's already been broken, you should request a new one. Make sure you don't touch the inside of the cap. I actually like to just keep it in my hand away from the bottle, and you slowly fill up the bacteria bottle. And it might look yellow, that's okay. That's how it should be. And you fill it up to the mark on there. Put the cap back on without setting it down or touching it. Again, you're just trying to reduce contamination as much as possible because it's really easy to pick it up. So now I'm going to set this aside. And next step is to take the ice pack out of the refrigerator, pack it all up, put the correct labels on everything with the time, and before I forget, you'll want to fill out your water sample analysis form and pack it away with the sample to be sent away. This particular test needs to be overnighted to resin tech, so I'll collect it all up right now, put it in the box, put the correct shipping information, and I'll get it sent away today. So hopefully this helps you. Hopefully this is a good way to show you how to collect a sample properly. If you have any questions or if you're interested in the sample, feel free to go to motivitality.com and click on our lab analysis packages, and we'll be happy to get that sent over to you. So thanks again. Have a great rest of your week.